People that pay for city property tax don't have to worry about paying for parking. But if you live outside of city limits, you may have to pay for parking now year-round.
Just a little bit away last night when they evacuated all those people off of that boat, and then because of the strong winds and Hurricane Ian, that boat just kind of flew over onto this side and landed here at Mystic Sea. I'm currently standing on Coldwater Circle, and there's a lot of people here lining the streets and several law enforcement vehicles. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see the scene here behind me.
And there we have it. We're going to go with that. Guys, it's all in the wrist. Clearly, I need a little more practice, and so does Chris. But Erica, I really encourage you to come out and try and show us your own bull wrangling skills.
One of those bullets actually came right across the street and damaged this business's window here.
Ms. Hamill, yourself, as this lawsuit alleges that you didn't recuse yourself from that boy's hearing because your son, David Hamill, was the principal at the time, just alleging that it's a conflict of interest. Do you believe that's true or not?
There's just no comment.
A piece of trash thrown outside of your car window can ultimately end up here at a pond on North Azalea Drive in the Surfside Beach area.
The report shows it needs to display all sanitary rules and the latest inspection report and have all estheticians display their licenses. But the report also notes that the inspector found several licenses didn't match current employees. Kepler's traffic ticket shows his blood alcohol level that September night was nearly 3 times the legal limit. He told the officer he only intended to travel less than a mile before he hit Webster. But this wasn't Kepler's first ticket. A judge dropped his April 2022 DUI charge to reckless driving. Webster feels South Carolina law allows for repeat DUI offenses. And with the lengthy statute, a prosecutor I spoke with says she agrees.
You just never would associate something so bad to something that in your mind you have built up as this wonderful experience for your child.
Kathleen and Marcos D'Oliveira's son loved to run, but that love turned into hate. They claim he suffered months of abuse at the hands of his teammates on the Waccamaw boys cross-country team made up of middle and high schoolers.
He said they put sand in my eyes, they kicked dirt at my face, they picked up, he said, red ants mixed with the dirt with their hands real quick and threw it at my chest.
The D'Oliveira say their 12-year-old also endured hazing and a sexual assault, and that coach John Jones knew about it and did nothing. In October 2023, their son couldn't take it anymore.
He says, I'm just gonna kill myself. I'm done. I just want to die. I can't do this anymore, Mom.
You know how devastated it is for parents to hear that.
The final straw happened when his teammates reportedly forced the boy to blow up a toilet with a firecracker during practice.
We understand the incident with the firecracker, but you have to look at this in its totality because one is connected to the other.
The family had to appear before the school board for a disciplinary hearing, and that's when they mentioned the abuse.
We were told that we needed to immediately go down to the high school and file a report with the principal and to file a report with the SRO, which we did.
The board voted to send their son to an alternative school for 3 months for vandalism.
We were devastated. We didn't know how to tell our son that he was going to be sent to Howard.
The family is now suing the district and Coach Jones for failing to report the alleged abuse, and Principal Hunter Eddy, who was assistant principal at the time, for admitting to deputies that hazing has been going on for years on the boys' cross-country team.
And everyone involved had the opportunity to do what was right. Everyone involved had the opportunity to step up to the plate and say, this is wrong, it's going to stop now, let's put this right.
The parents are also fighting to appeal the board's decision. Patty Hamill, who is mentioned in the lawsuit but not listed as a defendant, serves on the school board. Her son, David Hamill, who is not named in the suit or listed as a defendant, was the interim school principal when the alleged abuse occurred. I emailed and called Patty Hamill for comment, but she did not respond.
Ms. Hamill. Hi, can I ask you a couple of questions, please?
So I showed up to Tuesday's board meeting.
Ms. Hamill, yourself, as this lawsuit alleges that you didn't recuse yourself from that boy's hearing because your son, David Hamill, was the principal at the time, just alleging that it's a conflict of interest. Do you believe that's true or not?
There's just no comment on any pending litigation.
Through the grace of God, he's still here, and he's a strong boy, and he's still struggling. Every day he struggles, but it makes me proud that he's seeing it. He's seeing that it was his voice that has stopped it from continuing.
We've learned the district let go of Coach Jones in July because it wanted a full-time employee, not because of the allegations. We called the school district and Hunter Eddy for comment, but they declined to speak with me due to pending litigation. As for Coach Jones, he didn't want to go on camera, but did send me this statement saying, "In my 45 years of coaching, I have never allowed any of the athletes in my care to be bullied or abused. I would never allow this to happen, and in this case specifically, I was never told of anything inappropriate happening to this child."
The bar after someone fired a gun. The bullets hit 26-year-old Jasir Wilson inside the bar. He died several days later.
If guns are getting in the club, security's not doing their job.
Giuseppe Paparo has worked as a security guard for more than 5 years at several different Horry County bars and nightclubs. He says shootings at places meant for entertainment should never happen, but they do. All over the Grand Strand.
I see that a lot. I see it a lot whenever I go out to, bars. There's, the security's not paying attention. They're not focused. They're just not doing their job.
I filed a records request asking for a list of bars and nightclubs in Horry County where a shooting took place over the past 5 years. I got this email back. It says they do not maintain a list of establishments where shootings have occurred. So we tracked the shootings from our reporting. Since 2020, WMBF News reported on 16 bar shootings. 6 have been deadly.
So I do think that it falls on the bar owners just because, they're not providing they're providing security, but it's not quality security. And, they're just hiring anybody off the streets, and they need, people that are qualified to do the job properly to prevent these kind of things from happening.
So it begs the question, are security guards really able to keep people safe, and are there any real requirements in place? I asked Horry and Georgetown County's top prosecutor those exact questions. He says he agrees with Paparo, saying once you step foot inside a business, your life is in the hands of the owner.
The dollars and cents is what drives what type of security that they may have. There's really no state law that says it. If I opened a bar, I could hire my cousin or anybody to work the door, make sure that underage people were not coming in, and to make sure that there was no weapons.
Richardson says the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division offers both basic and armed training courses for security guards. Paparo says he's gone through both and believes the courses are a step in the right direction, but don't go far enough.
We went through the armed portion because our company needed armed security really badly. There were people that have never shot a gun doing the armed security that passed qualification. So,
no permits?
No permits. They had no permits, never shot a gun.
SLED's website lists 6 requirements, including being 21 years or older and having a clean background. The website also says having your concealed weapons permit has nothing to do with SLED security. Instead, if you have the permit, it'll just help you pass the course, saying, quote, "You will most likely have no problem passing." And
that's a liability factor too. For the company and for the bar that they're hired at. But I do think that, there should be stricter restrictions on a lot of things.
Most of that is just good business practices. It's not necessarily set out by law. The government doesn't come in and tell you how to run a business. How you get to that point is pretty much a business decision.
Was it a car accident? But how would the car get backwards in the ditch?
On April 3rd, 33-year-old Caitlin Bennett took her last breath. Horry County Fire Rescue initially reported her death as a single vehicle incident. But it wouldn't be until a week later that police would acknowledge the homicide investigation in a social media post. asking for tips from the community after we repeatedly asked questions and requested reports.
I haven't been updated or anything on anything. I haven't heard anything.
Sly Avan is the father of Bennett's 5-year-old son and tells me he wishes police had used those 7 days to at least tell his family about Caitlin's murder. And just like Avant, WMBF doesn't learn about many Horry County homicides from the police department. It's become a long process to discover someone has been killed in Horry County. First, many times we receive tips from the public about a police presence in their neighborhood, and they're asking us if we have information on why officers were in the area. Or we look through Horry County Police's list of calls for service to find any homicide cases, many of which are listed as aggravated assaults. Next, we have to ask for an incident report, which can take about a day or two to receive. Oftentimes, when we get that report, information is redacted, meaning we don't have a clear picture of exactly what happened. Sometimes those incident reports don't even say if a case is a homicide. So we have to reach out to the coroner's office and wait for them to release the person's identity and their manner of death, which again could take a few days. There have also been instances where we don't know a homicide took place until the coroner's office releases the victim's name. The most recent example happened in June, when the coroner's office informed news outlets on a Wednesday about a deadly shooting that took place on a Monday in the Conway area of Horry County. We brought our concerns to Horry County Police and asked for an interview, but the spokesperson declined an on-camera interview. She did, however, respond to our questions, stating Horry County Police Department provides proactive incident information to the best of our ability on incidents where there is a real and present risk to the public. The spokesperson goes on to say if the risk to public safety is low or non-existent, then decisions about proactive communication are made based on the incident and the needs of the case and community. The county's organization chart places your needs as taxpayers as the #1 priority. Next in the chain of command is Horry County Council Chairman Johnny Gardner and then County Administrator Steve Gosnell. We reached out to both of them but never heard back from Gardner and were told Gosnell was on leave. The lack of response isn't sitting well with Bryce Fiedler.
It is a public safety issue if the public doesn't exactly know the details or the timeline of a recent case.
Fiedler works to promote government transparency and accountability. He tells me Horry County Police are leaving more than just victims' families in the dark.
Things are happening and the police is not, telling them in a reasonable timeline about what's going on. I can see how public trust and public satisfaction would start to go down. 3 of the 9 reported murders this year remain unsolved, including 2 from a deadly New Year's Day bar shooting at drinking class in Little River. Neighbors in that community, like Ethan Shoulders, are echoing the fears of victims' families and reminding those who wear the badge for transparency.
Are they going to be? I don't know.
Yeah.
I like them to be because there's a lot going on and people don't really feel safe. I just pray and hope sometime, some way, somehow, some way that our police force can give us justice and make us believers in them.
A trust Fiedler claims starts with the Public Information Office.
The purpose of that job is to be the point person for information coming out of the department to the press, to the media, and to the public, and really to anyone that has questions.